It's a new year, and today's video has some fresh perspectives. An animated Japanese wrestling card? Speaking of Japanese, how about an indie darling tearing it up in Japan, but also we have kind of an indie grading company making waves within the wrestling card space. Rare ECW stuff again, and two cards of two legends. One card that continues to hold steady value and popularity, and the other, well, not so much. Welcome to 2023, where we're actually going to be looking back at 2022. This is the Wrestling Card Market Watch for December 2022. What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Cards. Today we're kicking off 2023's first market card watch, even though it is technically 2022's December. As always, I've found some interesting sales and talking points based off those sales to talk about here today. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. 2016 PWG Battle of Los Angeles, Will Ospreay, CSG 8.5 rookie card, $99.99. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega tore it up at Wrestle Kingdom 17 recently. Personally, the style that these two bring to the table, not really my cup of tea, but I can't deny they're a draw and they're popular whether it's my style or not. Hey, if it's bringing more people to wrestling and it's bringing more wrestling card collectors into the hobby, I'm all for it, whatever it is, even if I don't like it. But let's talk about the card and the slab. First, the card. I'm actually kind of surprised this one went for so low. And I know a lot of people say that, but the PWG Bola set just seems to always have a groundswell of collectors around it. And I honestly think that the biggest part of this may be just because of the market overall. But again, it's a fairly rare card from a fairly rare set. But what gives? I don't know. I'd love to hear your opinions. Why is a guy that's at the top of the card on a recent Wrestle Kingdom ripping it up in Japan, and a guy that seems to be adored by most modern wrestling fans? Why is his cards not getting any more attention or pricing or cardboard love, however you want to word it? Why is there not more attention on Will Ospreay cards if he's such a big deal? But let's move on to the slab, CSG. The new CSG slabs have really been catching on with the wrestling card collecting community. And sure, they have the best, in my opinion, clearest plastic in all the grading industry. But I honestly think the wrestling card community has gravitated to CSG because they are willing to grade independent cards and maybe some other rare and scarce obscure cards that, like this one today, that many of the other grading companies just aren't touching. CSG's taken the time to go out of their way and do the research on these cards and find great sites like WrestlingTradingCards.com and others to verify, hey, these are actually wrestling cards that are legit. They're not homemade bootlegs. Taking that extra step to help out wrestling card collectors. Another amazing thing they do is they promote wrestling cards on their social platforms when they grade a card, or they'll tweet out a picture and it'll have a wrestling card and they'll talk about it or talk about the grade. And I just think that's great overall. It puts a microscope on wrestling cards. Again, whether you like CSG or not, whether you like modern work rate wrestling fans or you're annoyed by them or you like the flip-flop stuff or not, whether you like indie cards or not, you can't deny that kind of the perfect storm here of them promoting cards like this and going out of their way to grade indie cards. It's a great overall thing for the wrestling card hobby and hopefully gets more people looking at wrestling cards in general. 1998 BBM card number SR10 Bruiser Brody, $180. I've spoke before about how BBM seems to be the standard bearer for big-time Japanese wrestling cards. And in more recent years, I've seen more and more people dabbling or getting just full into Japanese wrestling. Not necessarily BBM, but just Japanese wrestling cards in general. I think it's great. It's always nice to see fresh perspectives and fresh things to collect. But with this card specifically, from my perspective, I've always been a huge fan of animated cards or animated drawing style. I honestly think that goes back to the WWF Bendham cards that you could get on the back of the packaging when you bought the action figure. I just love the artwork on those cards, and I think this one kind of parallel to that one in a bit. But to see a card like this, an animated card, in 1998, years after Brody's passed, I think it's a great number for a great card. And it's kind of a random card, but I say random because I'm not the Japanese card expert. I'm not a wrestling card expert, period. I just like to talk about them on here. But if you are an expert and you have more information on this set or this specific card, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below in the comment section and let me know if you know more about this card or this specific set it was in, or maybe why it sold for what it was. But obviously Brody has a huge cult following and a lot of people collect a lot of his stuff regardless whether it's cards, action figures, shirts, ticket stubs, whatever it is. He's got a huge fan base out there. So overall, it's not really a surprise that a Bruiser Brody card would sell for a good amount of money, but this one specifically, it's interesting, but I love it. 1996 Choice ECW Arena exclusive Francine rookie card, $199.99. ECW, as a promotion, has a super hardcore collector base. Even to this day, people are going back and getting all kinds of random ECW stuff and adding it to their collection. Shirts, action figures, ticket stubs, banners, event used stuff, and much more. And they've all been going for really hefty prices most of the time. But that being said, it seems like the market continues to kind of uncover some of this rare ECW stuff. In recent years, there's been a groundswell in this ECW set that was produced in '97 that apparently came out of VHS tapes. I did a whole video series on it you can check out in the archives. But there's even been rumors of some of them floating around in modern eBay sales or Macari or wherever you're buying them, and they're supposedly fake. So you gotta be careful on those. Then we started seeing, again, like I said, ECW ticket stubs and grading those, or going back and buying some of the vintage shirts. And a lot of this stuff we had never seen before, or maybe we had seen it and just out of sight, out of mind. But I don't know if we can say the same thing for this set. This Choice ECW set, I had always heard about them. I'd seen one or two floating around, but they just don't come to market very much from what I've seen. That being said, recently we've had a handful of them show up on eBay, this Francine card being a great example, and it seems like most of them are autographed versions. I just find this whole set and this autograph thing fascinating, because we don't have any concrete evidence of a full set being released. As this title states on this eBay auction, it's an arena exclusive. Was it actually an arena exclusive? We don't know. How many of these cards actually exist? I've seen maybe 4 to 5 recently, but is there a set of 20 out there that we don't know about? Please, I'm begging you, if you're watching this and you have information on this set, anything, any tidbit of information you can give the collecting community on this set, please leave a note in the comments and let us know what you know. As I said, I'm dying to get more information on this set. 1994 Bumblebee Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson PSA 8, $2,500. However, a best offer of $700 was accepted. What happened with this card? A card that was at the top of the wrestling card world collecting pyramid just a couple years ago has now come tumbling down. But why has that happened? I've got a few theories. Obviously, I stated it earlier, the market across everything is pretty much down right now. So that could be a little bit of it. But there's also this segment out there saying this doesn't count as a wrestling card. Which, yeah, obviously it's a football card. But in my opinion, you shouldn't let anyone else's opinion dictate what you should or shouldn't put in your collection. So I'm really hoping people didn't get persuaded not to start buying or investing or collecting or whatever you want this specific card because it's not a wrestling card, it's a football card. I think if you're a fan of The Rock, you should own this card regardless. And while this is kind of a rare card specifically in higher grades, I think this is also a reflection of a changing interest and market that we've seen over the past year or so. Now, I'm not saying this is every collector, but it seems like there's been a real big shift in the people who want things that other people can't have. So with this Rock card specifically, go to eBay right now. You can pause this if you want, go to eBay. You're going to find these cards all over eBay. Now, they may be raw, they may be in, sheets with the complete set, they may be graded, they may be in various grades, but you can find them. But typically, if you're a Rock fan, again, with a new segment of collectors coming in, you can't just go out and buy Rock Golds or Rock one-of-ones. Low-numbered parallels, animal prints, you name it. There's a lot of rare stuff out there that truly is rare. And it seems like many people rather have the truly rare card in like a PSA 4 or a 5 or 6 or whatever. That's just an example. I'm throwing numbers out there. They'd rather have those types of cards as opposed to the super high-end PSA 10 like commodity cards where you could go out and find them again in raw, mid-grade, high-grade at any given time most likely. And I'm not saying one of those is right or wrong. It's just an observation that I've seen with markets and with what people talk about and what people are wanting to add to their collection. That being said, I would absolutely love to have one of these Rock cards in my collection. Hey, if you got one out there and you want to work out a trade, I got tons of stuff I'd trade for it. That being said, let's flip the script. Let's go against everything I just said with this next card. 1991 Classic WWF Rookie Card, PSA 10, $3,501 on December 4th, and then again a separate one sold December 19th for $5,000. However, a best offer of $3,650 was accepted. This isn't the first time I've talked about this specific Undertaker card. And these two sales are completely contradicting to everything I just said about the Rock card. So let's talk about it. Obviously, people love this specific Undertaker card regardless of what it's in because it's an iconic shot. And like I said, there's tons of them out there. That being said, if you want to get technical in the PSA 10s, not that many out there. Let's dig in. According to PSA's Pop Report at the time of recording, this specific card, Pop 4 in PSA 10, 4. So the defenders of this card would come out and say, okay, well, there's only 4 of these. That automatically makes this more rare and more valuable than a, just say, Prism Gold that there's 10 of. Or Topps Chrome Gold where there's 50 of. Technically, it's not exactly the same thing, and here's why. A pop report, as we've seen, can always change. There could be a bunch of these ripped out of boxes. There could be some come to light that have been in someone's collection for years and years and years, and all of a sudden they decide to grade them. And when you have a card that has a serial number stamp on it, that's it. There can't be any more printed or made or manufactured based on the rarity of that numbered parallel. And that being said, I presented both the argument of The Rock and this one of The Undertaker because I see both sides of the equation here. This isn't me trying to play down the middle and try to, keep in both camps of vintage or modern or investment or flip it. Like, none of that. This is just an honest opinion because I can see both sides. Honestly, I think this just comes down to taste and style of collecting. Nothing's wrong with either side. Nothing's right necessarily with either side. But I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments. Tag me on social media. I would like to hear your response to this. How do you collect? What do you like? What do you prefer? Do you want iconic rookie cards in the highest grade possible? Do you want the lowest number parallel cards that a lot of people can't get? Or do you kind of dabble in both? That's kind of what I do. But regardless, I'd like to hear your opinion. It's just an interesting topic to discuss here closing out the video, and that's what this channel is all about. Bringing different aspects to looking at the hobby and giving different viewpoints. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope it brought you some value. If it did, hit that subscribe button, give me a like, and please spread the word about this channel. Anybody you know that collects wrestling cards or even sports cards for that matter, or hey, wrestling fans, let's take the sports card collectors and the wrestling fans, get them into wrestling cards so we can grow our hobby, have more fun, and hey, be able to work more trades and get that rainbow you've been trying to collect, or finish that set, or get that PSA 10 rookie card you've been looking for. It's all good. It's all fun. Wrestling cards rule. That's the trademark phrase on the Worlds Collide podcast. I just stole it for this one. But regardless, check the links in the show notes for all the other ways you can help show your support. And click the videos on the screen. Until next time, you can view those videos in the archives. We'll see you.